Mm, we're good. Just about. Yep. Cool. All right. All right. Here we, I think, go. Oh my goodness, it worked. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of Talk Hard. This is episode 9 of Talk Hard on Outer Loop TV. Welcome. We're coming to you again from the Rebel Base, obviously, because this is Empathy Project Week, and I could not make another one of these virtual backgrounds, so we're just using another one.
Can you hear me?
Yep, we can, Tim. That's much better.
Do it.
Sweet.
It's because I had the damn thing plugged in.
Amazing. Cool. So we
How
are
did we live without these days?
It's cool. We're coming to you from the Rebel Base in downtown DeKalb, as we usually are. We are representing tonight, as we usually do, like all over the map. But tonight, I'd say even more so. We got Brooklyn in the house, DeKalb, Chicago, Buffalo, Michigan, LA. We are all over the map. We even have both humans and canines on the show tonight. Old favorites, new faces, legends, OGs, which is all over the map. It's one of the most amazing shows that's ever happened in the history of the last 9 shows that we've done. It's incredible. So first, I want to thank everyone, all of our artists tonight for being with us, and I want to thank our audience, our very loyal and faithful Talk Hard audience. Thank you all for watching every week and supporting the arts. Quickly, as I usually do, for those who are new to Talk Hard, the Outer Loop Theater Experience is a nonprofit theater organization that was founded in 2010 with the mission of developing new work, artists bringing their work out of the studio, out of the bedroom, out of the house, out of school, onto the stage, onto the screen for the first time. So that's what we're about. And Talk Hard was developed in 2015 as a workshop for singers, writers, dancers, poets, painters, every single type of artist, every artist of every stripe, to develop new work on a piece that might be not so new, but they want to do something new with it. And it was very successful in New York City for a few years. We ran it in Brooklyn and in Manhattan. And then when we all wound up in quarantine 2 months ago, we brought it online, and we've been doing it every Thursday night. And we have a very loyal following. Folks who tune in every week to see some of their favorites, to hear what's going to happen in Sergio's play, which may end. I don't know. Maybe it's going to end this week. I'm not sure. I haven't heard yet. No, it's not going to end. So
Don't make it end.
I know it never ends. Actually, it goes on forever.
It's a 17 actor.
It is, absolutely, with two people. So one thing, we're going to get started quicker than we usually do because we have a full roster tonight. I just wanted to say one thing. I wanted to thank everyone who is both watching and on with us tonight for participating in one way or another with the Empathy Project that's coming up this Saturday, May 30th. We actually sold out yesterday, which is amazing. So we have a full show on Saturday night. We're so excited. We did our dress rehearsal last night, our tech, and I'm telling you, this is one of the most incredible experiences I've ever been involved in, one of the most unique theatrical experiences I've ever been a part of, and it's just, I'm so proud of it, and I'm so happy to bring it to everyone, along with Rachel and Emily and everyone else who's involved this Saturday night. And the last thing I'll say is those who have heard about it but maybe haven't been able to get a ticket yet, not to worry. If you go to the ticket link site, we are running a wait list because there is a chance, I'm not sure how large that chance is or small, but there is a chance that we could potentially open up some spots on Saturday. And even if we're unable to do that, this is just gonna be volume 1. We're gonna do volume 2 and probably volume 3. So at least get on the wait list, get in touch with us, and one way or another, we'll get you to see the Empathy Project on either Saturday night or in the near future. So yeah, let's get right to the. Oh my goodness, people are donating already. I didn't even mention the donations, which are over there. Oh shit, they're over here.
We didn't do anything yet.
I didn't do it. Oh man, didn't do it. Yeah, I will say real quickly, and then we'll start. I promise. But I was reminded by Lindsay. Thank you so much for your donation. So we, as always, we take. Jesus, whatever with that thing. So I'll just do this again. Our Venmo right there is at Talk Hard, and all of our donations tonight and every week get divided up at the end of the show. Emily and Miles are laughing so hard at me right now. And all of our donations get split up equally and go right to all of our artists participating tonight. As everyone knows, we've all lost income, and our artists are no different. Especially a lot of folks who are gig workers who work on shows and plays and in bands and comedians. So we do this show so that and we take donations so that we can hand that right over at the end of the show to all of our artists. So if you feel moved to donate tonight, you can do that at Talk Hard right there, Venmo. Cool. So we're gonna get started. We have 7 artists tonight, one more than the usual, but it was worth it for the lineup that we're looking at tonight. It was well worth giving you a bonus shot tonight. So where am I? I don't even know what's going on right now. Okay, cool. It's one of those weeks, everyone. Like, what is even happening? What show is this?
We're still inside.
We're still inside after 9 weeks and 7 shows a week, or so. I don't know what's happening.
Same place you've been.
Yeah, I've been in this chair for 9 weeks. Okay, so yeah. So is Sergio even here? He's there? He is. Yeah. Sorry, Sergio. We have 7 people, so you were like on the end of the screen that whatever.
I've been here for a while.
Oh, sorry. It's one of those weeks, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's cool. So we're gonna get started, and since we usually start with Sergio, if everyone can hide their video just for Sergio's spot, so we can do the reading with him, that would be great. And then once we're done, we can all show video again. So let me just.
Hi, Rachel.
Hey, I didn't realize people can see me.
People can see
Well,
you.
you're kind of breaking up a little.
I'm a ghost.
Hold on, I'm gonna get rid of this ridiculous background.
Thank you.
Sorry. Sweet, there he is. I know. I'm working
There's
on it.
like a weather lady there.
Sweet, there we go. Cool.
Hello.
Hey, Sergio.
Hey, what's up?
Good to see you.
Is there a way we can on the camera? Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
I know.
Yeah, there you go.
Thanks.
Yeah, sorry.
Thank you.
Cool.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Hi, everybody on the internet. I'm Sergio. This is a play I'm writing. I'm almost done with it. It's a new play called Meet Me Under the Bleachers. It is a play that takes place in 2002, which is about 6-7 years after Tupac was killed, something like that.
He's got to do it. He's always got to do it. He's got to get that in, man.
6 or 7, right, Michael?
Oh, man. We'll talk about it another time. It's not cool.
I love you, bro.
I love you too. That's cool.
Yeah, but it takes place in 2002 in
So Shane, I'll hide your video.
And it's suburban Los Angeles. And it's between 2 teenagers, Emilio and Caroline. It's a 2-person play, and they've had a very turbulent friendship/relationship. They've gotten to a point where it's been a romantic relationship. And the last scene we left off was that they were under the bleachers telling really inappropriate, offensive jokes to one another and talking about cultural and personal censorship. And just as throwing this out there, if any of you want to be entertained, go back and watch last week's episode of Talk Hard and watch the scene where Rachel and I are telling the offensive jokes and just watch Michael's reactions. They're hysterical. They're really, really funny. I've never seen him more uncomfortable or cringe more.
That's why we don't let him read ahead. He just goes in cold.
It's awesome.
So if anybody wants to do that, I encourage it. I was entertained for like an hour.
That's what I'm here for, man. I'm here to entertain.
Yeah, but that's my spiel.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So scene 15, yeah.
Yes, correct.
Great. Just gonna check our audio. Yep, we're good. Cool. Scene 15, Friday, afternoon, lunch, 12:45 p.m., under the bleachers. Caroline, who's dressed in all black again, paces back and forth. She's highly agitated. She has a cigarette in her mouth. She tries to light it, but her lighter can't get a spark going. She shakes it and tries again, no luck.
Fuck.
She digs into her backpack and pulls out her flask. She takes a swig and responds more intensely to the alcohol than usual. Emilio enters with his backpack and a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle t-shirt. His backpack is much lighter than it has been in the past. He holds a notebook in his hands. He sees Caroline pacing anxiously and approaches her.
Hey, did you get the last part Thompson talked about? About the troubles that started in Northern Ireland? Like when Thatcher got into... You okay?
Do you have a lighter or a match?
No, not on me.
Why not?
I just don't.
God damn it.
What's wrong?
I just want to smoke my fucking cigarette.
So you didn't get the notes?
No, I didn't get the fucking notes.
Caroline, seriously, what is it?
Caroline takes another swig from her flask.
We need to talk about something.
Do you need a drink to tell me?
The hell is that supposed to mean?
It's the middle of the day, Caroline. Do you really need a drink?
It's none of your fucking business. How dare you ask me that? I can do whatever I want with my body.
What's wrong?
My father found condoms in my room.
What?
The condom wrappers. He found one on the floor.
Oh. What did he say?
Caroline takes another swig from the flask and puts it back in her backpack. She tries to light her cigarette one more time. She lights it successfully.
I can't see you anymore.
What?
I can't see you anymore.
Is that what your father is saying?
That's what I'm saying.
I don't understand. Like, what happened?
Our housekeeper, Rosa, was cleaning. She's actually from El Salvador, too. She was cleaning my room and found an empty condom wrapper, and she showed it to my dad. They ended up searching my room, and they found everything.
What else was there?
The vodka, some pot, more condoms I bought. My dad thinks that you're behind all of it.
Why does he think that?
Because that's what I told him.
Why?
I had to tell him something.
I have nothing to do with you having any of that. At least not the vodka and pot.
I know, but that's what I told him.
Why did you do that?
Because I'm not fucking transferring to some fucking private school or whatever where I have to suck Jesus' cock every day over a fucking guy. He threatened to send me to some goddamn evangelical camp if I didn't stop seeing you, and I'm not going through that. I'm not going to some Christian hellhole for anybody.
Your parents even know about me?
I mean, yeah.
Really?
I told my mom about you. I mentioned you to Casey. She was surprised. They were both pretty happy about it. Until this.
My mom wants to meet you.
She does.
She says she's never seen me this happy.
There's nothing I can do.
You can come to my house. That would be fine.
You don't get it?
What don't I get?
My parents are going to be stalking me from now on. They're making me go to church every night. I have to start tutoring special needs kids after school. I have to work on my church's stupid theater play thing. This is done. I can't see you anymore.
What about now, like during lunch?
It's not a good idea.
They can't stop us from seeing each other here.
I can't. You need to go.
Don't do this.
I'm not doing anything. Just go.
You're breaking up with
You
me.
never had me, Emilio. I'm not your fucking property. I don't belong to anyone.
Why do you say shit like that? I've never said
Because
that.
I own myself. I make my own decisions. This is my life. You think you're the only guy I've been with recently?
Excuse me?
I never said I was exclusive. And I certainly never said we were a couple.
Are you fucking kidding?
I never said those words.
You are so fucking selfish.
Fuck you.
What is the matter with you?
There's nothing selfish about self-preservation. I'm not going to risk my entire livelihood over some boy. You're not that special to me. Now will you please go?
Emilio exits. Caroline buries her face in her hands and cries. Scene 16. Monday morning, 11:38 a.m. Classroom. Emilio stands in front of the class with a handwritten essay in hand. He wears a Che Guevara t-shirt. He reads.
While the tactics of the H-Block IRA prisoners were by all means debatable, their determination at this point in the struggle was unquestionable. One of the first acts Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher committed when she was elected into the office was strip all rights and privileges from IRA prisoners, including political status. Prior to Thatcher's reign, prisoners of war had the privileges of not working for the prison which they were held in, freedom to form assemblies for education and recreation, weekly visitation rights, and the right to wear their own clothes, and not that of a criminal. These rights soon became demands, and different plans were formed and implemented to try and regain them. The first action is what is known as the blanket protest, which came to be known as the dirty protest, in which prisoners actively refused to be washed. Eventually, because IRA members were often beaten by prison guards for using the toilet, the prisoners began to spread their own excrement on the walls of their cells. This lasted 5 years. In 1980, a more dramatic course of action was taken. Led by Irish Republican veteran Billy McKee, 8 men, symbolically representing the 1916 Easter Proclamation, began a hunger strike. After 53 days, the hunger strike was called off due to the fear that the weakest volunteer could die. The hunger strike failed, and their demands were not met. But in March of 1981, a second hunger strike was organized. But this strike would be under the leadership of Bobby Sands, and this time the strike would be to the death. The strategy would be different. Under the leadership of Bobby Sands, the hunger strike would commence with one volunteer going on hunger strike. Then 2 weeks later, another volunteer would start. 2 weeks later, another. 2 weeks later, another. The logic being if one striker were to die, he would be replaced with another, and there was no shortage of men. Bobby Sands would be first. After 66 days on hunger strike, Bobby Sands was declared dead. He was 27 years old. He was a volunteer of the Provisional IRA, a nationalist, a poet, a revolutionary, a member of parliament elected while on hunger strike, and above all, a man who fought and died for a united Ireland. 9 other men would die on hunger strike before it was ended, and the prisoners received most of their demands, including the right to wear their own clothes. While the British government declared what Bobby Sands did as self-imposed starvation, even suicide, the Irish masses of Northern Ireland celebrated his sacrifice, and he gained the rank of one of the great Irish folk heroes, uttered in the same breath as Michael Collins, Thomas Kent, James Connolly, and Mairead Farrell. It wasn't until 1998 that sectarian violence would stop due to the Good Friday Agreement, but the Irish masses continue to struggle today against an invading colonial power. From genocide to war and every horror imaginable, the Irish struggle for freedom has yet to be defeated. To quote Bobby Sands, "They have nothing in their whole imperial arsenal that can break the spirit of one Irishman who does not want to be broken."
Emilio lowers his paper and sighs. He looks blankly at his classmates. Lights out. Scene 17, Monday morning. A few minutes later, 11:46 a.m., Caroline stands in front of the class with a handwritten essay in hand. She's dressed in a tight black t-shirt with an anarchist symbol and has heavy shadow on.
The revolution erupted in Spain, more specifically Catalonia, as a response to the fascist uprising in Barcelona. But this revolution would be different. Not only would fascism be threatened by these armed revolutionaries, but so would Russian communism and, perhaps more significantly, liberal democracy. The Spanish Republicans were not the first to take up arms against Franco and the fascists. The first people to take up arms and fight the fascists were the ones who called themselves anarchists. The Spanish anarchists offered an alternative to the anti-capitalist struggle, one that was not rooted in Marxist-Leninism, but in an anti-authoritarian ideology that sought to abolish all forms of social hierarchy, from the church, to the government, to gender roles, to sexual relations, all the way down to the dismantling of traditional family structure. It was never solely a struggle against economic exploitation. The idea was to abolish the state, since the anarchists believed that capitalism couldn't exist without it, and only perpetuates exploitative political systems. The other priority for the anarchists was dismantling the institution of patriarchy. In fact, women's liberation and the fight for social, political, economic, and cultural equality was as important as eradicating capitalism and the state. Anarchists to this day see the elimination of patriarchy as a top priority and that there should be no compromise in that struggle. Many people, even esteemed academics, mistake the term anarchy for violence, criminality, bomb throwing, property destruction, and general chaos. But in ancient Athenian mythology, the word chaos did not mean disorder. Chaos meant vacant space, awaiting occupation. And if one starts to think more abstractly, one can start to think in more unconventional ways when analyzing and studying social revolution and political process. Anarchism, as understood by philosophers like Mikhail Bakunin, Peter Kropotkin, Emma Goldman, and Lucy Parsons, means pure grassroots democracy in every institution, mutual aid, economic cooperation, the abolishment of social hierarchy and economic class, worker self-management, peasant and worker control over production, self-government, and leaderless resistance. To put it plainly, total freedom. These ideas, of course, were hated by authoritarian governments. The anarchists resisted the fascists through armed struggle, but they also found themselves fighting against authoritarian communists and leaders of liberal democracies who all agreed that before anything else, this revolution had to be destroyed. The masters do not want the servants to run their own affairs because they'll quickly realize that they do not need their masters and that the servants will start to work for their own interests as opposed to serving centralized power, capital, and political domination. It was for this reason that the fascists, communists, and the leaders of liberal democracies collaborated with one another not only to destroy the Spanish Revolution, but make an example of what would happen if the masses ever tried a social experiment like it again. Like the Paris Commune of 1871, the revolutionaries and their supporters paid for their efforts with blood. The anarchists were despised because they proved that another world is possible. For 3 years, anarchism flourished in Spain. It was the culmination of the struggles in Europe, Russia, and Latin America. The revolution may have been defeated, but it was never discredited. Even George Orwell believed later in life that he should have sided and joined the anarchists during the war, not the Spanish Republicans. Ideologies can manipulate minds into serving a ruling class of any society or government. Rarely does one truly serve the collective interests of the proletariat totally and completely. One cannot claim liberation for herself without struggling to liberate the masses, but this is only possible when that radical dream comes to pass, when the workers of the world unite. To quote the great Italian anarchist Enrico Malatesta, we anarchists do not want to emancipate the people. We want the people to emancipate themselves.
Caroline sadly smiles as she lowers her essay. She's pensive and regretful. Lights out.
Yeah.
Nice, man. Beautiful.
I read ahead and I thought we were reading scene 18, and now I'm sad that we're not. So I'm excited for next week.
Beautiful.
No, the reason is I have to touch it up.
Okay, fair enough.
I promise.
Sergio, I have to tell you the most amazing thing. I've got relatives in Northern Ireland, and right here where I'm pointing is a picture from Derry of a 3-story tall mural of Bobby Sands in a frame.
What? That's
Awesome.
cool.
Love it.
Unbelievable.
That's cool. That was, man, really, really nice, Sergio. Like,
Love it.
really, really nice. Yeah, awesome.
I wish I could have written that essay at her age.
Oh, man, really cool, Sergio. And I know, as I say every week, it's been so great to have Sergio on every week and to continue developing his play and reading his play every week, because we have so many people who watch every week who wait for, the next scenes. And it's really, it's so cool for Rachel and I, because it's exactly why we started Talk Hard, So it's so cool to see, Sergio, for you to be able to use this to, and I know you mentioned you go back and watch the videos of it to do rewrites and to laugh at me, which is super cool. So, because I know any chance you get to do that, you take for sure. But yeah, man.
I really thank you and Rachel for giving me the space to do this and to let me have an audience. I really, truly am grateful to the both of you. So thanks.
Sure, man. Same, same. We're grateful to have you. So really cool. Awesome. So we're gonna keep it moving with another talk card. You know, we started off with a talk card legend, and we're just gonna move into another talk card legend here. Not only a talk card legend down the road in DeKalb, but co-director of the Empathy Project, which is so she's probably having as crazy a week as I am, because she is doing 10 times the work that I'm doing. But so here is co-director of the Empathy Project, writer, actor, amazing human, Emily Vetrano.
Thank you. I'm not doing as much work as you. My brain, when you guys start talking about the technical stuff, my brain just stops. It just stops. And then I wait until like the conversation comes back to something I understand, and I'm like, yeah, sweet, that's a great idea. So
That's cool.
anyway,
So hold on a second, Emily. I just want, if I could, there's no need for everyone to, you don't have to, everyone on the call doesn't have to any longer hide your video. Only when we do Sergio's. I mean, you can if you want to, if you're like doing something you don't want us to see. But we'd love you to stay to see your faces from this point on. But I'm sorry. Go ahead, Emily.
oh no, that's it. All right.
Okay.
So last week we had the first part of my essay, and so this week we will read the last. And so this is part 2 of This Isn't What You Think, a few words to the other woman. And I think it's with this, dare I say, nostalgia, this hazy, dreamlike state of uncomfortable and surprising goodwill, of wishing and realizing and wanting and needing and hoping. Coincidentally, I've discovered I do that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
For you, that I write this, that I question and wonder and ponder you, that I ask in all sincerity with only the best intentions the following questions. Do you know it's your right to be heard? Really heard? Let me start it again. Okay. Do you know it's your right to be heard? Really heard? And do you know it's your right to as much physical pleasure as him? Do you know you're not there solely to please, appease, engage, listen to, defer to, agree with, be with him? That you get to stand on your own beside him, not walk 2 steps behind? Do you know you have the right to your own life, your own success, ideas, interests, anger, frustration, happiness, joy, and that none of that is up to or centered around or only available to you because of him? Do you know you have the right to speak up all the time, every day, all day, to speak your truth, even if and especially if it doesn't align with his, to have boundaries and keep them, to keep a separate bank account and not lend him money because it's not your job to support him and his inability to support himself? Do you know you're not stupid or naive or frivolous or too young to understand or too gentle or too kind or to whatever it is he might tell you you are, to keep his fragile ego as large as possible and to keep yours as comfortably small? Do you know he will never actually quit drinking, no matter how many times he promises or how many bad nights there are? Do you know he will never stop talking to other women behind your back and never stop making you feel little as he simultaneously works extra hard to make himself feel big? That every woman he actively flirts with in front of you is his effort to program you to react in the exact same way I did when he left me? That he is priming you to fight for him because if he didn't, he's terrified you'll wake up one day and realize what a complete and utter disappointment this is and leave him? Do you know he will never stop talking about himself? Do you know, and this is hard, do you know that you're not that special? That he told me the same things that he's telling you, and he told the same shit to the girl before me, and the girl before her, and the girl before her? Do you know that's what he does? That he casts a net as wide as he can to see who's just green enough to bite? That the little notes and texts and songs and plans for a future that will never materialize, they're all the same, and include him being better to you, and being the father he never had, a dog, and giving you the life he knows you want and plans to never give. that a promise to him is just a statement made to quiet your suspicions because he senses, as he is so keen at doing, that perhaps you're on to him, and it would be in his best interest to quell your valid fears by creating a fantasy in your mind built on exactly what he knows you want to hear. He's not necessarily the smartest, but he sure knows how to play the system, yours in particular. And please don't misinterpret this as an affront on your intelligence. I felt for it too. In fact, I've come to learn we all do at one point or another. That every woman I talk to about him just smiles and says, "Oh, honey, we all have one." Do you know what he did to me, he will do to you? Not today, not tomorrow, but someday. Because he can. Because we keep allowing him to. Because, unfortunately, until we break the chain, there will always be another me. And there will always be another you. And finally, because I'm afraid you might be feeling a little sick to your stomach, do you know you could do a lot better? That just because you fell in love with someone 2 years before you were legally allowed to consume alcohol, it doesn't mean you have to be with him? That your individual growth as a person, as a human, does not have to coincide with his or yours as a couple? And that if at any time you realize the relationship no longer serves you or never served you because you've grown or changed or evolved or woke up, that you must, as hard as it will be, must get up and walk out. Because I didn't. And if your answers are yes, then truly from the bottom of my heart, I am happy for you. Maybe you did possess a magic something I didn't, and your good somehow transformed his bad. I have to believe if I can change, others can too, and maybe he did. But if one or more of your answers are no, then I've got a bottle of wine with your name on it and a whole lot of truth to share. Give me a call when you're ready, or better yet, give me a call when you're not. And until then, I feel it's important for me to state I don't hate you. I never did. I honestly can't say that if I were in your shoes, I wouldn't have done the exact same thing. Hell, for all you know, maybe I have been in your shoes. And that's the real shame, the cycle of it all. Perhaps progress is not me growing my way out of jealousy or us becoming somehow friends. Perhaps progress is when the tables inevitably turn and you, seemingly out of nowhere, when did I become old? Find yourself in my position. You paved the path for her that I wasn't strong enough to pave for you.
Thank you so much, Emily. So beautiful. I just want to say that, one of the comments that I echo from someone watching, Savannah Lee said, "Emily, your essays move me so deeply. Love you all." Yeah, we're sitting here like, I don't have words. Like, I don't know how to speak after hearing how, just brave and insightful and on the nose and funny and touching your writing is. It's just incredible. Thank you for sharing that. It's really nice. Cool. All right, let's do a little bit of that. Sweet. So thank you again, Emily. Emily, those of you who are going to be joining us Saturday night for the Empathy Project, you're going to get another dose of what you just if you fell in love with what you just heard there. Emily has written and is performing her own piece in the Empathy Project on Saturday, so a treat for everyone.
Hunter wants to echo what Savannah Lee said.
Yeah, Hunter said retweet Savannah Lee on the Emily comment. A lot of love for Sergio as well. Sergio and Emily love happening right now on Facebook. So thank you both. And thank you to everyone who I've noticed the donations are coming in already. So just a reminder, thank you so much. Our Venmo is @TalkHard. And all the donations tonight go right. Oh, more donations. Thank you so much, Bob. They're rolling in. So thank you so much. I know our artists really appreciate it because I hear from them every week about it. So thank you very much to everyone for supporting artists at this time. Super cool. Next up, a new Talk Hard face. Not new to some of us. Some of us have seen the talents of this amazing actor, poet, human. And not only is Brian going to join us, but Iris, I think, might make an appearance too, possibly. But sweet. I'm going to introduce you right now to. Let me get some speaker view going. And this is a face new to Talk Hard, but hopefully not the last time we're going to see him. Brian Hayes, everyone. Welcome, Brian. It's good to have you.
I'm just going to read this piece that I wrote, and then I can talk about it afterwards.
Absolutely.
Passivity has been getting to me, makes me feel hella wavy, call me unsettling. I'm wondering why I keep doing this to my man, B. That's me. That's me. That's me, don't you see? You see, these things have a tendency to stamp out any drive towards ascendancy, clearly hard to make out when you're all by yourself, especially when damage has been dealt. Time ripped away the Band-Aid like a cheap piece of felt, comparable to the way that his feelings have been treated, as if they were a pelt, or on the trophy side of a prized possession. Or on the trophy side of a prized possession. Been crying so long, I feel like my eyes might melt. Been trying so long, it feels like my body is helter-skeltering. Time for a sheltering in place. Hephaestus in his mountain trying to smelt a fountain of youth, or a time booth that would inevitably not soothe his feelings of unease as a biracial brooder. Sought the truth, conquer loss. For the first time, he feels like the boss. No more rolling dice. Fake friends have been extinguished, put onto ice. And it only took the crossing out of always wanting to be seen as nice. Presentationally presenting himself, aka a quarantine. He's done with all that. He got hair long like he Joe Green, not looking mean though, defending his sanity like a linebacker, scrambling, jumping for a fumble in tandem with his team. Finally came to the realization that one must deem themselves a king. But instead of ruling with an iron fist and rocking hella bling, love, care, and kindness are what I want others to receive and repeat on the daily. Instead of acting shady, lift yourself up and others on the daily. You gotta admit when you got a good fit and how to tell when to hush it cause you looking like shit. Sometimes life gets wavy, take a second, just sit and rebuild yourself 8x4 multiplied to 32 bits, nigga. Throwing dinner for two, now your height is at 6'4". My question is how tall to reach the bell atop heaven's door. Sometimes my heart wavers, I start to fall to the floor. My emotions pour out and I ain't got no more to give to this. My mind's weighing heavy. I feel riddled with sin. I wish I could find some way to start over again. Depending if or when this re-beginning saunters in, I might end up in a worse state than I currently am in. An unwarranted prehistoric pin has been placed in people with my skin tone. Right over my heart center, the pain's taking over. Jolly bees getting rinsed. Teeth clench, muscles vibrate, vibrate. I don't take kindly to intruders manipulating my space. Trace amounts of warrior are found all over my DNA, and I'll knock you out with a quick 1-2, and then I'll go get a fade while your ass is left participating in the black parade. I wish that people would not throw shade. It separates us, puts us in a stagnant stalemate. I want to change our fates. I want everyone to be great. I want the white world to evolve and stop making everything about race. There's no debating that we all should be equals. It seems as of late night songs are being played that feature solely the sadness and heartbreaks of my peoples. Let's peel back these layers that separate us and get to the heart of the matter. What's the matter? What's there to be scared of? The truth? A time of healing for the world has yet again turned into the ceilings and dealings of dead hands to black boys and black girls.
Amazing, man.
So I think it's like pretty clear what the piece is about.
Yeah.
I don't have anything else to say about it. There's only one thing left that I'm going to say, and I'm going to say his name, George Floyd. And if you don't know who that is, you need to take a second and Google and figure out who it is.
Thanks, man.
I just
Love you.
got a
Thanks for
text
doing that.
from your mother others saying that Bryant is brilliant.
A lot of love on Facebook, my brother. We're getting texts from people who are watching, and yeah, I'm so glad that you wrote that you read that, and you said what you said, because it's exactly why we do this show, to make space for people to be heard, to make space for not only for people to be heard, but for often underrepresented voices and messages to be heard. And I'm so moved by what you wrote and what you said. And thank you for sharing that. And you're welcome here anytime and all the time. And I'm so glad that you're with us today. Amazing. Cool. So thank you everyone for all the love, for Sergio, for Emily, for Bryant. Yeah, I mean, what an incredibly powerful start to this show. And yeah, like Brian said, if you didn't know what he was talking about, you need to go find out, and you need to go find out like right now. It's really, really important.
I can tell you, Bryant, as a man who's almost 60, a Caucasian leftist, I'm so fucking tired of this story and the 10,000 versions we've heard in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm with you, Tim. Yeah, it's fucking exhausting, right? Like, Jesus Christ, what is it gonna take, you know? Yeah, thanks again, man. That was just I'm really moved. We're gonna shoot over to from Chicago, from Bryant in Chicago, across the way a little bit to Michigan, to a legend, another legend, a legend really in many ways, a DeKalb legend, an NIU legend, a Talk Hard legend for sure. And now a News Hard legend also, host of, so actor, comedian, host of News Hard on Outer Loop TV, in its third episode coming next week, and only getting better week by week. You know him, you love him. Here he is, Miles Potter.
Oh my God. Okay, I told myself I wasn't going to do any political, or let me start my timer so I don't ramble. I told myself I wasn't going to do any political or news stuff tonight. I'm going to save it all for News Hard. But damn, it has been a full week of news and bullshit already. All I'll say is that whenever, like, I have it set on my phone to get like notifications of like news and different tweets specifically, and every time I get something, I'll say like, oh, fuck, I got to talk about that next Tuesday. So I have a running list of like, we'll have to cover that. We'll have to see how we can tackle this. And it's just, man, it's just a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, something infinitely more dumb. A few days ago, I saw what has to be the manliest thing in existence. It wasn't myself. It was a mullet that went into a rat tail.
What?
Like it was a full mullet, and then bisecting the mullet was more hair coming down the center.
No.
Not like generally more hair, but like a focused more hair. Imagine like Joe Dirt, but with plans. The man wearing it was on the side of the road, standing in a ditch with no shirt and short jean shorts. I can only assume he was wearing Crocs. I couldn't see. I couldn't see his face, but he had to have looked like a mix between Brad Pitt and Josh Brolin, because that's the only face that could pull the rest of it off. He was standing next to two fully clothed men. I have no idea what they look like because I couldn't be pulled away from the violently magnetic presence of Mullet Rat Tail Man. They were standing next to what was the biggest tractor I've ever seen in my hometown, and all three of them were staring at the ditch like they were about to fuck it. Mullet Rat Tail Man was standing with his hands on his hips and his legs spread apart like some sort of redneck Peter Pan with twice the size of balls. It's burned in my mind. I promise I want to do a hot set. I promise I want to do a hot tub set for you all. I just don't think I can get over how upper middle class, white, and douchey it would be for me to force you to watch me sit in a hot tub at my parents' house while I tell jokes pretending like everything's fine.
Yeah, you have a point.
Instead you get brown hat, kale sweatshirt, my usual brand. This is embarrassing. I did trim my chest hair in preparation to do a hot tub set because I felt weird about that. So rest assured, whenever you see me on screen or stage, I am also self-conscious about my body. I've been eating vegan for like 2 months ish now, and I'm not one of those vegans who always talks about it. Believe me, I want to talk about it less than you do. I'm the guy that will walk in the kitchen and be like, "Hey, is that meat? Can I smell it? Bacon, sour cream, real ice cream? Do you mind if I get super close to your food and pretend I'm eating it through my nose?" If that's a type of vegan, that's the one I am. Do you guys ever think about the coolest moment in your life? Like whether it's happened yet or not?
Oh.
Like whether it was when I kicked the winning goal in a soccer game in 5th grade and got carried back in from recess? Or am I going to save a child someday? No one gets cooler than saving a child. Kenny G is pretty cool, but he's never saved a child. I've been at a crosswalk next to a child. They weren't alone, but I looked at the child and said, "Hey, don't cross yet. It's not safe." Does that count? Actually, that reminds me of a story that is also embarrassing about my life. When I was 4 years old, I was having dinner with my family, and I knew we were going to go to my grandma's house, who lived like half a mile away. So we finished dinner, and then my parents were like, "Oh yeah, go ahead and play outside." They're like, "We got to get some stuff together, and then we'll head over to grandma's." I'm like, "I'm not going to wait. I'm walking to my grandma's." 4 years old, walked by myself. I get all the way to like a busy road, which like across the street from this busy road is my grandma's house, and I'm such a confident 4-year-old. I'm like, I'm going to grandma's. Fuck them. They'll see me there. So I get to the edge of this busy road, and I'm just a 4-year-old me is just looking both ways like I was taught. And apparently, I forget the name. They're gonna correct me later. His name was like Dick Burton or something. And he came out and he's like, "Hey, where are you going?" I was like, "Fuck off." No, I wish I was. But I was like, "Oh, I'm going to my grandma's." This man helped me cross the road, and then I was like, "Peace." Got to my grandma's, and then I think I got yelled at as soon as my parents got there later. So I was trying to do stuff by myself far too early in life. Like when I climbed a tree. We've all climbed a tree, I assume. I'm going to assume we've all climbed trees. If you haven't, go do it right now. I'll pause the video and wait. It was in the middle of winter. After school, I'm an elementary kid. I'm sprinting home, happy from school. I get to the front lawn. There's snow everywhere. I throw down my bag in the middle of the yard. Whatever. It's winter. I'm full snow pants, jacket, hat, decked out like a snow kid. And I go over to this tree in our front yard and I start climbing it. Parents aren't home. No one's home. It's winter. Everyone's inside. I climb this tree like all the way to the top, and then I fall. I don't hit the ground. It catches my snow pants on my leg. So I'm hanging from my leg from this tree. No one's home. No one's outside. I try to reach up. I can't quite get my leg. I hang in that tree for like 10, 15 minutes until my mom gets home from work, pulls in, comes out. My parents never swear, but in my imagination, I always want her to be like, "What the fuck are you doing? I'm hanging in this tree." I don't know how she got me down or if anyone did, but I'm here now, so I got down. And that's the trauma of my childhood. What else do I have? Here we go. I try not to drink coffee, but I go on like 3-week benders of drinking coffee. where I'll not have coffee for like 6 months, and then I'll have like one, and then it's like every day, 1, 2, 3 a day for like 3 weeks in a row. And then I'll like wake up like, oh, what's wrong with you? I'm in the shower crying. I just can't, I can't continue my life normally. And so then I'll like hard stop. And right now I'm on one of those days, like I didn't have coffee yesterday, and now I have like headache and shakes and like all the withdrawals you would expect. So that's my trouble. And like I always tell myself, like, I'm just gonna stop drinking coffee forever. I can do it. I can handle it. And then like a week later, I'm having it again because I'm basic enough now. I know that I have to go to Starbucks and get the blonde roast with coconut milk and cinnamon. I hate that I know I'll do it again, but I need it. But I need it. I think that's all I got. Thank you so much.
Woo! Amazing, Miles.
Nice job, man.
Oh man, a couple of some thoughts from Facebook. Courtney said,
not some cheers, just some thoughts.
Some thoughts. Mostly thoughts. Maybe the set needs to be about being a white middle class douche. Yeah.
I'll lean into that harder.
Okay. Miles Potter, hero. I agree. Wait, is shower crying not normal? Asking for a friend.
I like there's probably more people offended by middle class than by douche.
Yeah,
Okay.
probably.
It's PC to be a douche now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why not?
So if you thank you for all the donations rolling in. Thank you again. A lot of love for Bryant. A lot of love for Miles. If you're a fan of Miles Potter and who isn't, also this coming Saturday, Miles wrote a beautiful piece that he submitted and was chosen and is being interpreted and performed by a brilliant theater artist out of New York City, Bill Bowers. And when I tell you that this piece will change your life, both what Miles wrote and how Bill interpreted it, I mean it. So look forward to that as well on Saturday. For those asking, I've noticed a few people mentioning if you're not a Venmo person, we also at the Outer Loop has a PayPal giving fund link that Rachel will drop in the comments now. Some folks have already donated to that, so thank you both. Thank you for donating and choosing either method is cool. We'll get, no matter where you donate, we'll get it all to all of our artists tonight. Very cool. Our next artist, this young man joined us for the first time a few weeks ago, and we, along with our entire audience, fell in love with him and asked him back. And so he is joining us again, coming straight in from Buffalo, New York. Thank you for all a lot of donations coming in for Miles and for Bryant. From Buffalo, New York, representing upstate New York, writer, comedian, poet, gentleman. Here he is, Tim Joyce. Welcome back, Tim.
Hi, great to see you all again. Thank you so much. This is just such an amazing opportunity. I'm in this really wild position where I got myself published in the traditional sense in several different ways, but suddenly there's this person who wants to take my Facebook poetry page and a lot of my Facebook updates, which tend to be really long monologues, and make a book of them. And the first paid job I ever had was teaching astronomy at the Buffalo Museum of Science when I was a senior in high school. So I have a lot of poems and stuff about that. So I chose to begin and end with an essay and poems about stars in between.
Cool.
For tonight. I got a theme.
Nice.
My wife is named Connie. Connie is spectacular. She took off this Monday night so we could have 3 nights at our cabin, of course. But specifically, she wanted me to be in the darkest sky possible for the peak of the Perseid meteors, which was this weekend, although tonight is the tail of the peak and Saturday was the spear point beginning of the peak. She made sure I had the darkest, clearest skies for Sunday and spent a vacation day to ensure it. Her brother Jim fished and took in the weekend with us. He found the hole where the larger perch are, and so we had fish-based dinners Saturday and Sunday, including a chowder with fried fillets cooked brilliantly by Connie for the day of rest. My father taught me to clean a perch so it would render into fillets with a minimum of bone, a lesson I learned in 1972 at a New York State park called Cedar Point on the St. Lawrence River in the Thousand Islands region. But aside from cooking and such, Connie is amazing because I was swirling in a typhoon of anger and tension the first day because of reasons that have to do with my demons of depression, anxiety, and the poor choices they lead me to make at times. I made a stupid, indefensible choice Thursday, the night before the trip, and woke up feeling like the man who never learns. Instead of owning it, I acted like an immature little turd. The first cabin day I awoke, still spoiling to act like a dipshit, but she soothed me with a blend of tough love and truth. I didn't know what to do to make it up, so I shoveled out a stairway, which I paved with wood stairs in the midday heat, down to her fishing hole. And then Jim used the newer path I made to weed whack a better fishing place where 3 or 4 can go now. That night, the fire was spectacular, and we listened to distant radio on the AM dial. The Friday clouds had been unfriendly, so we hoped for clear skies on Saturday, the 12th, and we got them. Saturday night was romantic, glistening with a dome of stars, so I brought a tarp down to the improvised fishing place, where 70% of the sky was unblocked by trees or the hills. We crawled into sleeping bags to fight the dropping and accelerating of the wind that would transform the day's heat into autumnal cool. Jim stayed up by the house while Connie and I laid back on the ground looking up. We saw a great number, not only of Perseids, but random meteors as well. A person can tell the random, ambient ones, because they do not point back towards the constellation Perseus. We stared at the sky, just Connie and her imperfect burning stone of a husband, and watched over an hour at the temperature as it dipped into the 40s. That night, as the troika of peak nights commenced, I saw 16 Perseids and 5 random. Connie saw 14 and 3 ambient. And the last night we lay on the other side of the cabin in the chaise lounge while Jim and I stayed in the yard by the fire. Strongest of the peak nights, it didn't shirk at all. Despite a field of only a third of the previous night, I saw 18 Perseids and 6 random wandering lights. We all exclaimed ooh and ah like fireworks and called out, "Did you see that one?" Somehow, not knowing she married the broken thing that I am, she can find my man of light no matter how much my man of shadow wants to run the show. She believes in me, which is the only reason for the most part I believe I'm anything more than the combination of my man of shadow and a sham, pretending he has even a right to cast a shadow. 45 meteors, all of which I can remember like they were filmed in my subconscious. 45 seen by me only because she loves me to the point of using a vacation day to ensure I saw the Perseids on their peak night. She is the rendering of Halley's comet that adorns the Bayou Tapestry. She is the light that has lighted my world.
Nice.
Outskirts, for my brother Tom, nearly 7 years dead. It is still a few days shy of that woebegone 5th anniversary of the day when my eyes first knew was the real truth after I'd left you in your MICU bed the night before became the words, "He died," on a telephone spoken through tearful dignity by my wife. She knew and still knows dignity in a way I cannot. She knows, and you knew, how to live with some decorum while I broke punch bowls over my head at parties and ruined love like something not meant to live in this vulnerable world. We didn't quite get it right. We knew the fissures and where the patch was needed on the bicycle tire. We knew so much except how to get out of the hole. The hole I dug that even your love couldn't save us out of. Your love that was proof of gravity waves, the Higgs boson, the Loch Ness monster, all in just one belly love. From you, all gone from me. It was unseemly. Your brother's still living, who cannot claim, the baby of the clan, the one who was raised merely to be cute and useless. I wonder if you remember calling me that, or if in the next world you know it was a fair description. I cannot claim the closeness others had, but I once did. We miss what we lose. But we should check our valuables if losing them means so much.
Nice.
This next one, I promise you, is shorter.
No
It's
worries.
called heliopause. It may be either the mind or the body that leads the soul, but there's a place called out there, and it becomes the space where here or now cannot be touched, where the soft skin finger caress of reality is displaced by fear or some other incarnation of Maya or rage. I went out there a while ago, but I'm pretty sure if not heading back, then at least the arc is past the bend and coming toward now with speedless direction, riding the well-run train with no timetable or chosen gate for rearrival. Out there is a lonely place. I wouldn't go there if I were you, but that is not mine to choose for anyone, it seems, even me. Out there is a symphony of night terrors mingling with sunlight on snow and many other unnoticed spectacles of joy and resurrection. Out there is nowhere to be, but there you are, sifting sand through fingers all the while, trying to count each grain out there. It's tearful happiness and the light of hysteria, laughing lies and death with humor. If you do go out, you'll want to go back. Everyone out there does, just the same as everyone out there is not quite sure which injury sent them careening or what temporary blindness or perhaps paralysis of the fingers left the rudder unattended, how the sextant was dropped overboard or through the window of the capsule leaving star shine to beguile, but no way to steer. I've been out there. I feel some manufactured confidence. I may be coming back, but the navigation, to be sure, at this point is no more than hope and guesswork.
Nice.
This is called Abbey of the Genesee, a place I go run by Cistercian monks. And when you stay there, you're not allowed to speak, even at dinner. Abbey of the Genesee, a week to wait for. A life has tipping points, moments when that last drop that can be held by the levee falls and the next drop falls, followed by families of rain that overflow the present world. And there you find yourself trying to make sense, swimming hard against a muddy tide. They've told me that God tends to speak more in silence, and that is why so much of what is gorgeous is soundless to the eye, brilliant to the ear. A life has tipping points sometimes. You need to be among those whose days are a living prayer, and the tipping point you will find, whoever is me. So the time comes again to walk along the Genesee River, observing indoors the silence they request, praying the quiet travels along in the walk through the woods. There is a time in any season for walking along the water trail, listening for God, asking the deity to quiet a sizzling brain enough to hear what it can see.
Wow.
This is the last poem and then a short essay.
Cool.
La Bella Luna. Like a yellow to orange smile, the crescent stood in the west, sinking off to sleep. Soon my love called out to me. To leave the couch, I ran and saw the earth shine, what Mom always called the old moon in the new moon's arms. What I'd give to be in her arms tonight, but it is time to live and speak in occurrences of now. This pandemic life that may be years, this frailty of hope that may expose fragilities I've never admitted is at home. I know what it is to love and worry and fear the telephone message about the events in a distant hospital. I know the feeling it is to drop off baked bread, the product of my darling one's effort, along with a pizza to a friend whose test came back with an unwanted answer. He survived Vietnam, and I take faith that the bread strokes he places on canvas with such beauty will carry him out from the 2 weeks that tell him if it becomes it or passes to allow life to carry on.
Nice.
And this is the essay. Tonight, I'll finish Carlos Castaneda's Journey to Islam, which is wonderful, and it follows up having read The Astonishing and The Razor's Edge by Somerset Maugham. Earlier this summer, I found myself reading the early poems of William Butler Yeats, the biography of Leonard Cohen, and also as well a great deal of Sylvia Plath. The common ground of the books I'm grabbing is astonishing given that I'm not purposely choosing them. I've just been going to the shelf and taking the one that draws me. The search for not only meaning is, in all these words, with Sylvia's horrific suicide permeating her anguish on the page and leaving me sad for her inability to find the meaning that gets one through, it would seem. But also there's a common theme that I believe is guiding my hand to the shelf. Humor, determination, courage. I experienced something many, many years ago in 5th grade, and that's no joke or typo. Something drew me as a boy to wonder at the world, to wonder where the lions are and how it fit into the ever-growing love of astronomy and a new person coming of age. And I saw the Pleiades and Saturn through the backyard telescope. And I had just read I just listened to Within You and Without You and just read Beyond the Observatory by Harlow Shapley. And I started thinking how the nuns told us the world was endless. And I became dizzy and I almost threw up in class. And I told my dad about that. And he said, that doesn't matter. You told me about stars tonight. And we were in his dark room. He always had a dark room, even though we had a small house with 11 people in one bathroom. And he said, you want to see my stars? You want to see my Pleiades? And he held up a picture of my mother. I know when it comes time for me to truly sing hallelujah, I'll exclaim as I stand before the Lord of Song that I'm swimming in a warm sea full of aggregating strands of nascent DNA 3 billion years BCE, and imagining what my great niece's grandchildren will be like, even though I'll be worm's meat long before those children bless the planet with their gentle footfalls. We are tiny. We are confused and driven by the lower emotions and desires all too often, but we can indeed achieve purpose, it would seem, if we are lucky. And so my hand will reach. After the final 11 pages are scanned tonight to the next set of pages to read, and inside of all that joy, there must be a small clue that leads me to finally have a purpose that does justice to Sylvia Plath, to Jesus, to Dad, to Harlow Shapley. Love. Thank you.
Thanks, Tim. Really beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing your poems, your essays. I know from the Facebook comments and texts we're getting, and for Rachel and Emily, I know we feel really fortunate to have had you join the Talk Card family, and we look forward to every time you're with us, and please come back as often as you'd like to share.
As often as you'll have me.
Oh, it's just so beautiful, Tim. Really beautiful. Thank you so much.
Oh.
Right? Right, Emily?
Really, did I make you cry or did you just have wet eyes? Also, by the way, your wine glass is the size of your head.
That might have something to do with the tears, Tim.
The
I don't know.
shower crying.
The shower crying. Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with shower crying.
Okay. All right, we're outing the shower criers right now. So thank you, Tim. Thank you so much.
You.
So what's really exciting now is we're gonna shoot back over to Brooklyn, and there is no more OG hard talker than the face of Talk Hard. And I know, like, back by very popular demand, she's not been with us for a few weeks, but we've been hearing nothing but, like, where the hell is Shayna Goodman? So,
oh, that's a sick joke.
No, it's not. So we're extremely excited to have Shayna back with us. So everyone, welcome back Shayna Goodman, our friend and OG hard talker.
It's good to be back. I'm in school, so I was on virtual classes all day.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I was listening to your performances, but I was giving my eyes a break from the screen.
Fair.
I just love you all. This is such a great thing that we get to do because this is a lonely time. So
Yeah.
I appreciate you, and thank you for being so vulnerable, just online for fun, because we can, and it brings us together. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't plan a speech or anything. I don't know what I'm going on about. I'm gonna do a song. For those who don't know, I'm learning guitar and also doing it for you live because now's the time to take chances. So
Yeah.
Okay. I get up in the evening and I ain't got nothing to say. I come home in the morning. I go to bed feeling the same way. I'm nothing but tired. Man, I'm just tired and bored with myself. Hey there, baby. I could use just a little help. Can't start a fire. Can't start a fire without a spark. This gun's for hire. Even if we're just dancing in the dark. I forgot to put it on auto scroll. We just keep getting clearer. The radio's on and I'm moving around the place. I check my look in the mirror. I wanna change my clothes, my hair, my face. Man, I ain't getting nowhere. I'm just living in a dump like this. There's something happening somewhere. Baby, I just know that there is. You can't start a fire. You can't start a fire without a spark. This gun's for hire. Even if we're just dancing in the dark. You sit around getting older. There's a joke here somewhere and it's on me. I'll shake this world off my shoulders. Come on, baby, the laughs on me. Stay in the streets of this town. They'll be carving you up, alright. They say you gotta stay hungry. Hey, baby, I'm just about to stop at night. I'm dying for action. I'm just sitting here writing this book. I need a love reaction. Give me just one look. You can't start a fire. Sitting around crying over a broken heart. This gun's for hire. Even when we're just dancing in the dark. You can't start a fire. Worrying about your little world falling apart. This gun's for hire. Even if we're just dancing in the dark. Even if we're just dancing in the dark. Thanks.
Shayna, comments like this is way beyond learning guitar. So good.
Oh, wow.
Very nice.
Your guitar skills are improving. Your voice has always been stellar. Yeah, just beautiful, Shayna.
Thanks for the validation.
Do we get another one? Oh, sweet! Look at this. Laugh Hard board member chiming in. Laugh Hard board member Sarah Garner popping out of the grass. It's just her height.
No, that's all I have. That's
Okay.
it.
Oh, cool. Thank you so much, Shayna. That was beautiful. And yeah, really, thank you for getting on the internet in front of us and like learning guitar, which is not learning. You're already like.
I'm so happy I'm doing it.
Yeah.
It's really hard.
Oh, it's cool. You make
Next
it look
time,
easy.
pull Courtney Cox up with you.
Yeah, right?
Nice.
I'll play Courtney.
You get that joke, Shayna?
Yeah, she does the video.
I hope so.
Yeah, she does.
I don't want to be that old.
Rachel doesn't get that joke, Tim, but the rest of us do. Thanks, Shayna. That was beautiful. So I just want to, before we bring up our last artist of the evening, just a reminder, thanks to everyone who's been donating. Our Venmo is @TalkHard. Notice I made the virtual thing go away and not come back because I can't figure out which way to point, and that joke is basically finished now. So no, it's not finished. It's always funny. Okay. Thank you so much to everyone. We're seeing the donations come in. Thank you. We can't thank you enough. We're gonna bring up our final artist of the evening, who I don't know how many emails and messages I got last week when she wasn't with us about what the fuck is going on. Where is Courtney? What is this bullshit? I mean, mostly from her manager, Diane, but also from other people. Like, what is this shit? Like, Talk Hard ends with Courtney Lavender. What the fuck is going on? But we had a little agreement, Courtney and I. Before we bring her up, I'll just say Courtney's also written an original song inspired by a story that was submitted to the Empathy Project, and we had a little deal that we gave her a little break so that she could work on her Empathy Project song, which we heard last night and is one of the most powerful songs the three of us had ever heard. Yeah, we stayed up way too late last night, mostly talking about Courtney's song. So we're, those of you who are Talk Hard regulars, you know this amazing human. And if you don't yet know her, you are about to, and you're also about to fall in love with her too. This is Courtney Lavender. Hey, Courtney, welcome back. We missed you last week.
Good Lord. Don't expect that much. That was, fucking hell.
Man, I love your little, I gotta ask you, not now, later, but how you do the little X's and arrows thing there. We'll talk later. I think Diane told you how to do that.
Well, my manager Diane told me to get something like that, and then my roommate, artist Ken Klaus,
sweet,
figured out how to do it.
All right,
so.
Cool. We'll talk later.
I just want to say I started out the day feeling like really fine, and then something just kind of threw me. It was something really dumb. It just threw me, and I'm starting to I was like, I'm looking forward to this so I could feel like I was coming back to myself, and just hearing everybody's beautiful art and hilarious nonsense has done the trick. So thank you all. And I feel like I was wondering what to sing, and then thinking about how everybody here has created something partially from something horrific or something dark or something tragic or something hard, and then partially also from such beauty. I love the Perseid stuff. You know, like so much art is the combination of those two things, right? So this song for me came half from some dark place and half from a really beautiful bright place. It's called Fire from Gold. You stoop to the lowest rung, haloed and hexed. You bleed but to breathe in the roaring of jets, coaxing plum-colored nightmares from limitless depths. You dance in the flames, impervious to threats. No rush, coyote, no ride. there in the glancing light, prisms and caught a moment to still to the pumping of hearts, flowing rose petal blood cells, push out any thought. You wait in the warm, you will make this your art. No rush, coyote, no cares, coyote. Take the lead and set fire to gold. Oh, oh, and all this time you thought the answer lay in wait, but all this time the question was to blame. No rush, coyote. No fear, coyote. No anger, no regrets. No rush, coyote. Not here, coyote. We are only blessed. There's no devil in this hole. Take the lead and set fire from gold.
Rachel was very happy when
I really
you.
needed that.
Aw,
Thank you.
thanks.
Beautiful.
Thank you. I'll do another song in a similar sort of vein. I guess about getting your head out of dark places. Words never made it to paper, like punching at the glass of a two-way mirror. It's I who's in my way. Blood still pumping if you open a vein. Truth will bleed out if you put it to page. And I hear you say, raise your heart just a little bit more, a little bit more. Raise your heart just a little bit more, a little bit higher. The message comes as a thought, as a rule. Rise up, turn pain into fuel, and I must obey. Raise your heart just a little bit more, a little bit more. Raise your to be. I only wanted her to be. We all will suffer, we'll always suffer, but maybe. Maybe raise your heart just a little bit more, a little bit more. Raise your heart just a little bit more, a little bit. Raise your heart just a little bit more, a little bit more. Raise your heart just a little bit, a little bit more.
Thank you, Courtney. Couple of comments. One, a question on Facebook: is Raise Your Heart available for download anywhere?
Not yet. It's
Oh, okay.
it's pretty new.
Okay.
But we're planning on doing something so it will be at least available to listen to. Or,
Okay.
So not it won't. Yeah.
Cool.
Good.
Another comment. I think I said this 2 weeks ago, but whenever I hear Courtney play, I'm put into this state of calm, love, and happiness. There is a reason she closes every talk card.
True.
Truth. Thank you so much, Courtney. Also, so just a reminder, again, Empathy Project this Saturday Night Live at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. Courtney will be performing an original song inspired by a piece that was submitted. Brian, a question also, is it possible to get, oh, that's from my mother, actually. She wants is it possible to get a copy of your piece?
Let me think about it.
All right, cool, cool.
Not like I'm like trying to keep it like.
No, of course. I'm just,
Yeah.
I'm just the messenger. So I think the intention there, I think, was she just loves it. Cool. So thank you. At the exact same time, we were saying that we say this every week, but at the exact same time, Rachel and I were saying this to each other. Emily was texting us. So I think everyone's going to get credit for saying this first together this week, because there's always a fight about who said it first. But by far, I think we can all agree, 100%. Those of us who are on the call, who are watching on Facebook, and just everyone who's ever witnessed a talk card, that each week we say it's the greatest show ever, and it's true because it is up to that point. But this one's going to be really hard to beat ever, I think. This was like unbelievable. Just, yeah. And I see it in the comments and everyone texting each other here. So I wanted to just thank Sergio and Emily and Bryant and Miles and Tim and Shayna and Courtney, and our cameo appearance by Iris, and also by Laugh Hard board member Sarah Garner for showing up. Just, like we say it every week, but we barely make it to Thursday, and then we're good for another week, because we're filled back up with love and with art and with truth. So thank you to everyone, and thank you for donating. I've been seeing that come in. We'll leave it open as we usually do for like another 10 minutes if you feel so moved to donate anything you can to help support all of our artists tonight. And then just a few reminders, if you'd like to come on the show and try something out, we just next Thursday, I think, is June 4th show. We have a few spots still available, so we always like to keep if our regulars want to come back, if they want to work stuff, we invite them back, and we also always invite new folks in to try out stuff as well. So please just shoot us an email, check us out on Facebook, and send us a message. I mean, that's how Tim got on. That's how, everyone just sends a message and says, hey, I'd love to come on, and we'll have you on. So please do that. We have donations still coming in. Thank you, Tracy. We do a few shows right now. We do Monday night is Laugh Hard. all female identifying comedy. It's hilarious, rotating hosts and lineups every week. It's amazing. In its third or fourth week now. Tuesdays News Hard with Miles Potter, and always like hurts on Wednesdays because you've laughed so hard that like it hurts. Between Monday and Tuesday, by Wednesday you're laughed out. Thursdays obviously Talk Hard, Iris, and Sundays we do Empathy Radio, which has been really successful for the last 2 weeks. Last week was super cool. We got some surprise callers, and you can call in and talk to us live, which is super cool. This Sunday we have a special appearance by a couple of folks some of you may recognize and know, and we'll keep that a surprise for now. And yeah, Empathy Project Saturday, if you want to get on the wait list, please do. We may have some slots open up. And yeah, thank you so much to everyone for watching. Stay safe, stay well. We love you, and we'll see you next week.
Mhm.